Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the Superhero Post Show. It is your host Stephen Heyman, and today I will be talking about the recap from the Wandavision episode 4 that ended up coming out on Friday. So obviously today, well not today, but obviously when the episode came out, we finally got to see Monica Rambeau outside of this little town ship that she's in. We actually got to see her, behind the scenes of all this. We actually got to see what her actual job is and what her role is in Sword. If you guys didn't know, her mother actually started Sword, which I did not know, which was a really good touch. And her mother is Maria Rambeau. Y'all know who Maria Rambeau is. If you guys remember the Captain Marvel movie, that was where we first met Maria Rambeau, and the little girl who was her daughter is Monica Rambeau. And by the way, I just want to say, Monica Rambeau, what a great casting, a sister. And I mean, the afro looks great. It's really dope. Like, I love her hair, I love the look. This is literally like straight up off the comic books. This is perfect. So let's get into this recap by Collider. Shout out to Collider. Miss Liz Shannon Miller, you're doing a great job. I'm using all of your recaps for the rest of this series. So let's get it in. So through 3 weeks later, giving us a sense of when all of WandaVision is happening relative to the MCU timeline. Monica is back at work in the division built by her mother, despite her sword badge not working. And she's been tasked to help out the FBI with a missing persons case that ends up literally sucking her in. To be clear, what's happening in this episode is an explanation as to what's been going on for the past 3 episodes. Excuse me. When Monica arrives at Westview, Jimmy's there to greet her and also witness her being trapped inside the bubble. Fortunately, soon after, Darcy Cat, now a doctor in astrophysics following her time working as Jane Foster's intern, uses her savvy to figure out a way of monitoring what's going on inside the Westview bubble, old school TV technology. So guys, just before I go into the next scene, so when the episode first starts, it shows Monica Rambeau coming back from the blip. So she was blipped and her mother was dying of cancer. And I guess at the time, because I think she was blipped for like 3 years or however, or she was blipped for 5 years, but her mother died 3 years ago. So when she came back, she thought her mother was alive, because obviously at the time the surgery went well, but what actually ended up happening was her mother did end up dying of cancer. And when you blip back and she first found out, obviously she was sad and depressed and all that stuff. And then that's when she gets into Sword and they assign her to this FBI missing persons case. So back to the recap. Dr. Darcy, who was legit the best, and honestly I would get her a cup of coffee any day, is the one who has been monitoring the episodes coming out of the Westview bubble. Through vintage TVs, they discern that Wanda and Vision are living their idyllic sitcom lives. What they don't know is why. Agent Franklin goes into the sewers to try to figure out what's happening, while Darcy and the others monitor the action from outside the town, where they discover Monica is slipping into the action as Geraldine. Agent Wu brings up excellent theories about Agent Wu brings up excellent theories about whether what they're watching is an alternate reality or some cockamamie social experiment. And Darcy comes up with the idea of trying to use a radio inside the current episode to have Jimmy try to connect with Wanda. Unfortunately, Agent Franklin's attempt to infiltrate the WandaVision universe ends with him being rejected, and Monica ends up experiencing a similar fate as we saw in part during last week's episode, pushing Wanda about what happened to Wanda's brother. The entire episode featured no sitcom gimmicks, no original theme song by the Lopez's, and a truly horrifying glimpse at what might really be going on when Wanda looks at her beloved and sees this. And obviously the photo is a picture of Vision, like with the Mind Stone taking out of his head. It was pretty creepy. Is Wanda the one in charge here? That's definitely the implication. But here's what we know for sure: as Jimi Hendrix Voodoo Child plays, nothing is for sure. So guys, as I said, my theory still stands here. I still believe that Mephisto is behind this, but Wanda does have control of this. I think maybe like Mephisto or Agatha has like pushed her to do this, or maybe some type of deal was started as like, I'll give you this if you do this, but we all know Wanda has control of this. That's a given. It's the obvious answer. The question is, who else has control of this? Because Wanda obviously can kick people out, bring in whoever tries to put their hand in it, I guess, gets sucked in. The question is just, who is behind this? Because this isn't just her. I get she's the most powerful character in the MCU. That's obvious, but it's not just her behind this. And I believe that, as the episode's going, we're going to find out who's behind it. And I believe it's Mephisto, leading to, obviously the Doctor Strange multiverse of madness. But yeah, that's kind of where I am standing after this episode. Like, this episode gave a lot of information, but also not a lot of information. Like, I was also kind of confused, with what's going on at the same time. So we just gotta wait till episode 5 to get more answers, but it was definitely a good way to look at it. Like, I believe Wanda definitely knows that people are trying to get in. She knows that now. And even when you saw her, the way she looked at the radio from their perspective, she heard it. Like, she knows something is happening. So we just gotta wait and just see what happens. So thank you guys. Please subscribe and like the video, and follow us on the socials below. And yeah, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman.